Dortmund let him go. Barcelona gave up on him. His first season at PSG, 14 goals in 62 games. 4 clubs, the same verdict. Wasted talent. That same player just scored twice at Anfield to eliminate Liverpool from the Champions League. 4-0 on aggregate. He won the Ballon d'Or. He won the Champions League. He broke the record that Mbappé thought was untouchable. A coach saw all this coming when no one else did. His name was Luis Enrique, and no one believed him. Before going back to the beginning of this story, you need to understand what Dembélé is today, because the numbers are almost offensive. 33 goals, 13 assists, 46 goal contributions last season. The numbers that Mbappé usually puts up. Let that number sink in for a second. Just like Mbappé, the guy who was supposedly irreplaceable, Champions League winner, Ballon d'Or winner, Champions League MVP. This season he has picked up exactly where he left off. 10 goals in 17 league games. And when PSG needed him most against Liverpool at Anfield, with a spot in the semi-finals on the line, he scored twice in the second half to seal the tie. Luis Enrique described it simply. Ousmane has always been a phenomenon. The thing is, you have to dig deeper to get the best version of Ousmane. That is what Dembélé is now, a cheat code. What he was 3 years ago is a completely different story. Dembélé's story always started the same way, with talent. No one ever questioned the talent. Not at Rennes, where he broke out as a teenager, nor at Dortmund, where he announced himself to Europe before Barcelona paid 135 million euros to sign him. At Barcelona, the talent was evident every week, but so were the problems. Injuries, attitude, inconsistency. The type of player who would destroy Real Madrid on a Tuesday and then act like he had never seen a football on Saturday. Coaches loved him on Monday. By Friday, they were questioning his life choices. Barcelona let him go after 6 years. PSG signed him in 2023, and his first season in Paris was, to be honest, more of the same. 14 goals in 62 games. For a player of his level, that's not a slump, it's a pattern. Coach after coach, the same frustrated conclusion. The talent is real, but no one can unlock it. Then Luis Enrique arrived, and the first thing he did wasn't tactical. He confronted him. PSG drew Arsenal in the Champions League group stage. A big game, European stage, exactly the kind of night Dembélé was made for. Luis Enrique left him out of the squad. He wasn't injured, he wasn't suspended, out as a punishment. When asked about it, Enrique didn't soften the edges. If someone seriously fails to meet their responsibilities, they are not ready. I had to make a difficult decision, but I think it was the best decision for the team. I would do it 100 more times. And then he added the phrase that PSG fans couldn't believe. If someone doesn't meet those expectations, there is no problem. My goal is to look for the best for the team. That is the decision. Building a team involves a series of difficult circumstances. Yesterday, I had to make a difficult decision, but I consider it the best for the team. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I would do it 100 more times. Not a signing, not a Champions League comeback, not a trophy, leaving Dembélé out. Analysts called it unnecessary. Fans were confused. Dropping your most talented player before a European game against Arsenal wasn't exactly conventional management, but Enrique wasn't being conventional. He was drawing a line that said, your talent gets you in the building. Your attitude keeps you on the pitch, and right now your attitude is not enough. A Barcelona executive later confirmed what happened. Luis Enrique had a significant confrontation with Dembélé because he understood he could give much more than he was giving. Look what he's doing now. The player who returned from that moment was a different one, and here's the detail that makes this story almost poetic. Months later, he faced the very same team he wasn't allowed to play against. He scored in the 4th minute of the Champions League semifinal. This is what changed. And it wasn't just the attitude, it was the position. Luis Enrique moved Dembélé away from the wing completely. No more hugging the touchline, waiting for a one-on-one. He became a false 9, free to move into the center of the pitch, appear between the lines, and arrive in the box from angles that defenders couldn't track. Dembélé himself explained it. With Luis Enrique, I can play everywhere. As a 10, on the wings, as a false 9. At Barcelona, I was more tied to the wing. Here, I have freedom. But the freedom came with a condition. Working without the ball, pressing, covering, defending. That was the part Enrique had to fight for, and it changed PSG as a team, not just Dembélé as a player. When your best offensive player presses high up, everyone presses together. When he doesn't, there is a hole at the top that the rest of the team spends 90 minutes trying to plug. Enrique understood that, and eventually, Dembélé did too. After PSG won the Champions League against Inter, Enrique said something that explained his entire philosophy in a single sentence. I would give the Ballon d'Or just for how he defended in this final to Mr. Ousmane Dembélé. That is leading a team from humility. That is leading a team from leadership. He deserves the Ballon d'Or without a doubt. Not only for the titles won, not only for the goals, but for how he pressed. He has done it all season, but exceptionally in this final. Not for the 33 goals, for the pressing, Most people looked at the goals. Enrique looked at everything else. Summer of 2024. Mbappe signs with Real Madrid. The reaction was unanimous. PSG is finished. You can't replace Mbappe. He was the goals, the marketing, the identity of the entire club. Without him, they are just another team in a league that no one outside of France takes seriously. Luis Enrique said the team would be better without him. The laughter was immediate. Then came the 2024-25 season. Champions League, the first in their history, 5-0 in the final against Inter. It wasn't a lucky win, it was a demolition. Dembélé provided 2 assists in the final. Dembélé broke Mbappe's record for most goal contributions in a single Champions League campaign for PSG. And at the end of it all, he stood up and collected the Ballon d'Or. Mbappe left to win everything. Dembélé stayed to become everything. Meanwhile, in Madrid, Mbappe scored goals, broke records, collected golden boots, and won nothing. Real Madrid has just been eliminated by Bayern Munich, 6-4 on aggregate. Mbappe is watching the semifinals from home. Some decisions age better than others. And now PSG is back in the semifinals. Defending champions. Dembélé scoring at Anfield, a club that everyone said couldn't survive without one player, about to face the most aggressive team left in the competition. Except that PSG has already played against Bayern this season, in the Club World Cup quarterfinals. PSG won 2-0. Dembélé scored the second in stoppage time with 9 players on the pitch. Luis Enrique described him after that match with a single word: exemplary. Luis Enrique looked at a player that 3 clubs had discarded and saw something no one else bothered to look for. He didn't fix him with a speech, he fixed him with a decision, one of the hardest a coach can make, publicly dropping your most talented player, drawing the line, and trusting that whoever returned from that moment would be better than the one who entered. The man who called that his best decision of the year just saw that same player score twice at Anfield and score against Arsenal in the semifinals. He was right about everything, but the story isn't over. PSG still has Bayern ahead of them. If Luis Enrique was right about Dembélé, and he was, the question now is if he's also right about this.